Hey guys, it's Rachel here. So I'm gonna address the elephant in the room. Yeah, I have been gone for a while. Honestly, I'm not gonna bore you guys with the details, but I have just been, one, in a lack of inspiration, which just happens sometimes. Two, I've had some family stuff going on. And three, I'm really busy with film stuff in college and acting. I was in a theater show this past semester. I did a ton of film work at school, and I've just been building up my resume, really meeting as many people as I can, and that is the reasoning behind not posting as much. But it's the summertime. It's the summertime, which means that I have a lot more time to focus on you guys and talk to you all about stuff that I've done this past year and give you more tips and more stories and just experience life with you throughout our acting journeys and whatnot. Today, we're gonna talk about how to practice for acting auditions kind of in a pinch. So I know oftentimes when I'm preparing for an audition, I do procrastinate. I have found myself in this pickle a lot where I'm just like all of a sudden like, oh my god, I have to really memorize, I have to really dedicate myself to this project a day before the audition, and it's stressful. So today I'm just gonna give you my best tips and tricks on how to best prepare / practice for an audition last minute. Yeah, that's what we're gonna be focusing on today, so I hope you enjoy. Alright, so before the actual practicing of your script, your monologue, your material, what have you, I wanna talk about the importance of preparing. So just preparing your mind and your soul for this performance, for this audition. Gather your materials and read. Plot lines as well as character understandings are like super important to know when you walk into an audition room. Whatever kind of summary of the project you get or script you get, sides you get, anything, just make sure you read them simply. Even though you might not have a lot of time, it's super important to know what you're working with, who you're working with, who you're working as. That way, if the director hits you with a question, you can at least know who the character is or who the director wants that character to become. You have a bit of an understanding of this person's background, who you are, and why you're saying the lines that you are. But I know that sometimes auditions are cold readings, which means that you get the material when you get to the audition, so you won't get to see the sides until you're on the spot. But hopefully you'll get some sort of summary to at least read through to prepare for this. And I know this seems kind of common sense, but I cannot tell you how many times I have not read whatever I get before the audition, and I'm walking into the room thinking, oh my god, I didn't even read anything. If they ask me any sort of question, I'm screwed. Which is such a stupid mindset, and it's so dumb that we get ourselves to that point, because if you are saying lines without knowing what you're saying, then what are you acting? Why are you acting? Who are you? You know what I mean? I make these mistakes so that you don't have to. Now for some quick character building studies, I encourage you guys, after you give the script sides a good read through, whatever, first identify your given circumstances in the scene, which is basically what the script tells you. Basically anything that's like between the lines or in the lines, jot that down so that you just have a good understanding of what the script is actually telling you, so that you can have that in your brain. I know a lot of people don't do this kind of thing because they find themselves overthinking during the audition, but really I just find it as a way to just kind of have it in the back of my mind. It helps me really develop into that character because I just know it rather than just constantly thinking about it or like memorizing the notes that you take down. It's really not about that. It's just about like really understanding and pointing out things that you may miss upon a first initial reading. This could be things like where the character lives, or who the character is in an emotional relationship with in the scene, or if it says where you are, if it says why you're saying a line that you are, what kind of props are in the scene. So just whatever the script tells you, just jot those things down. And next, I encourage you to know your character's objective. This is a big thing. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been hit with this question at auditions. It's like, okay, what's your character's objective in the scene? And I have definitely, actually very recently, been in an audition where I'm like I had no clue. So yeah, just know what your character wants. Why are they saying these lines? Why are they reaching for this goal? Know what they want in the scene. There's always something that they want or some reason why we say the things that we do. So I could talk about this stuff for hours, like what you can really do to prepare, but I feel like that's more of like a once you book the job kind of thing. But I would say that if you have a good understanding of why you're saying what you are and who your character is, you're like one step up of a lot of people who just kind of memorize the lines. So good job already for that. But now let's go on to my kind of tips and tricks on practicing that material really last minute. So I would say that my first point of advice is to print out whatever kind of materials that you have. So whether it's a script or a monologue, I find that this is so much more receptive for me when I just like have something to hold and something to mark on. Once you have your script in hand, highlight those lines. Make sure that you make them stand out. You know, this draws your eyes to the paper, to the lines, to what you are trying to say. Next, if you want to, if you're the kind of person that likes to take notes on the script, just go ahead and do that. That way you have that stuff in your mind while you're still reading through it, still memorizing, so that it sticks, so that you won't have to keep going back and being like, oh, what did I want to do for that? It just kind of is like a read as you go kind of thing, memorize as you go, know what you're doing. So next it's time to memorize, of course. I have a video on how to memorize in 24 hours, which is just perfect for this kind of circumstance, so go check that out if you want more tips on memorizing. So once you have the material down, I would highly encourage you to practice with somebody with the lines. Just ask if your mom, if your sister, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, anybody would just be willing to like read through the other scene partner's lines with you. It literally helps so much to just be able to go through it and speak it out rather than just having it in your brain or even just like skipping over your scene partner's lines. Obviously a monologue is a little bit different, but even if you have a monologue, you know, hand it off to somebody and ask them to make sure that you have the lines correct. Just saying it out loud, getting another person's perspective, a chance to react to somebody else is really, really useful. There's also resources like apps and stuff that you can plug in lines and rehearse that way if you don't have someone to read with you. Honestly, I've actually never used one of these apps before, but I have heard good things about most of them. I see free ones like Cold Read. There's one that's called Need a Reader Actor app. So I want to do more research on those kind of things. If you'd like to see a video on a specific app and me kind of trying it out, I would love to do that for you all. So in addition to knowing your material and knowing your character, I would encourage you to think about questions that the casting director, the director, the team might ask you at this audition. So could just be simple things about you, could be prior acting work. A lot of times I get hit with the, you have 1 minute to tell me about yourself, go. So I would kind of think about things that you can just say about yourself, you know, just ways that you can convey yourself in the best possible way. You know, show them your personality, show them that you are dedicated to this role. Make sure that your resume is on point, make sure it's accurate. For example, if you have a skill on there, make sure you can actually do it because they might ask you about it. There was one time I had a typo on my resume and it said 1,001 Dalmatians instead of 101 Dalmatians. And I remember I literally tried to like play it off. I was like, oh, it's like a knockoff version of the play. But I lied. That was my first ever audition, I think. So just learn from my mistakes. Do not lie. That is literally what not to do. Just make sure that, you know, everything is proofread. Make sure your headshot is up to date. You want to look as professional and prepared as possible so that they want to work with you. You know, they see that you are ready, you're coming in here and you are like dedicated to this part. No matter how small or how big it is, you are here and you are auditioning and you are worth it. You're gonna kill it. I know that this might not be for everybody and I don't want to scare you, but you might want to just have a song prepared just in case it might be even related to music in the slightest, that you'll have to sing a little bit if you're comfortable with that. I also have said this many times, but I would have a monologue just generally in your acting career. Have a comedic monologue and a dramatic monologue kind of ready in the back of your mind if needed. I would say that like 90% of the time you come to auditions knowing exactly what you're gonna have to read and what you're gonna have to do. So I don't want to freak you out, but there is sometimes that they may be like, hey, you got a monologue prepared? And you want to be able to say yes, you know, you want to look prepared, and in that sense you can just be like, yeah, would you like to see comedic or dramatic, and just pull it out of your back pocket. And I would say just like generally bring your materials with you to the audition. So bring your sides, you know, if you do have monologues prepared, bring those just in case you need to look back. When you go into audition rooms, they do not expect you to be perfect, and that is the hardest thing to get through your brain as an actor, is knowing that perfection is not key, but preparation is key. But yes, it's a lot simpler, a lot less of a hassle, a lot more professional if instead of being in the audition room and being like, oh my god, I forgot my line, I'm sorry, can I start over? It's a lot better to just have it, just in case, off to the side or in your hand, to be able to be like, let me look at the lines real quick and I will resume, you know what I mean? So that shows them that even if you mess up, you get right back on your feet, it doesn't affect you. So I would say to wrap this all up, be prepared, be professional, walk in with a smile on your face and show them that you want to be there. Because you do, right? You know, this is what we love, this is what we crave, this is what we live for. But even though you're stressed, even though you're preparing for this last minute, maybe, possibly, even if you just sit down and give this project a really good focus for a little bit of your time, it's much better than just walking in there with the attitude like, oh, I didn't have enough time. But this is to not procrastinating and feeling more confident about ourselves when we walk into the audition rooms. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Also, comment down below any video requests that you have or questions for me. I will be very active in the comment section after I post this because I've missed you guys very much, and I cannot wait to make more videos for you in the very near future and beyond. Also, subscribe to this channel and click that notification bell so that you can be notified when I post. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you would like to, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!